It is 2016, and Zhu Xiao is a typical high school student who went largely unnoticed by his peers. He isn't skilled in academics or sports, and even though he has good looks, it doesn't make him stand out from the crowd. Despite this, Zhu Xiao and his friend Zhang Feng are happy to be slackers and enjoy their carefree youth, without worrying too much about their future ambitions. While Zhu Xiao's classmates are always trying to impress girls, he's not interested. Instead, he spends his free time playing soccer and joking around with friends. But everything changes one day when a group of bullies attack him after school. One of the boys pushes him to the ground and starts stepping on him. As Zhu Xiao looks up, he sees the most beautiful girl he's ever laid eyes on. Her name is Yang Sai. For a brief moment, Zhu Xiao is transported to another world, filled with romance and love. He can't help but smile at her as she walks by, and somehow he has the strength to fight back in a bid to impress her. Zhu Sai is called to the principal's office where he is being reprimanded for his actions. The principal expresses her disappointment, noting that this is not the first time Zhu Xiao has been involved in a physical altercation with other students. She tells him she has to speak to his mom about this concerning behavior. As the principal is speaking to him, there's a knock at the door, and Yang Sai, the new transfer student, walks in. Zhu Xiao couldn't help his feelings for her. He smiles as she walks past him. The principal leaves the office and he feels the urge to be friends with her. Approaching Yang Sai, Zhu Xiao introduces himself and explains that he's there to help her with her transfer from her previous school. Despite his efforts to sound confident, he can't help but feel uneasy when she doesn't show much interest at his offer. Feeling self-conscious, Zhu Xiao glances down at his torn trousers, realizing how unkempt he must look in front of her. Mortified by his appearance, he quickly excuses himself and walks out of the room, hoping that he'll have a chance to make a better impression on Yang Sai in the future. Yang Sai is quickly becoming the girl every male student desires to befriend. Her beauty and good grades have made her a popular girl in school. Zhu Xiao knows he has little chance of making her his girlfriend, but he can't help how he feels towards her even though she doesn't care about him. Zhu Xiao uses every opportunity he can to speak to her, despite her lack of interest. Even Xia Yu, the captain of the swimming team and the most eligible bachelor in school, has shown an interest in her, but Yang Sai declines his friendship request. During lunch break today, Zhu Xiao is discussing with his friend when he notices Yang Sai being blocked from passing by a group of boys. One of the boys, Xia Yu, also known as Shark, has been wooing her and she's been ignoring him. Zhu Xiao quickly intervenes and gets into a fight with the boys to defend Yang Sai. After school, he meets up with her at a small eatery. Zhu Xiao advises Yang Sai to officially start dating someone to deter the boys from pestering her. He's asking Yang to pretend they're both dating, but she declines, telling him that he's just like the other guys who have been bothering her. He disagrees, revealing that when he first transferred to the school, he was constantly bullied by everyone until he taught himself to fight and defend himself. She responds by saying that she dislikes people who constantly fight. As she speaks, Shark and his friends approach them, looking angry at seeing Zhu Xiao with her. She knows they're looking for a fight. She tells Shark to leave them alone as they're both dating. This takes Zhu by surprise. He never believed Yang would agree to his suggestion. This seemed to work as the boys left her alone. The scene shows the students in class writing. As the bell rings, they begin to pack up their books and put on their bags. Zhu leaves his seat and walks over to where Yang is sitting. He brings out his lunchbox and opens it, revealing 2 toast breads with the shape of a heart on them. Yang tells him not to get his hopes high as they are only pretending to date. This seems to disappoint Zhu. He tells her not to worry about it and just joins him for lunch. While still talking, Shark and his friends come into the room as soon as they see Zhu and Yang together. One of them throws an open can of milk at him, making the milk splash all over his body. Zhu is enraged and restrains himself from fighting them because he has earlier promised Yang to not fight in school. He knows they are begging for a fight, and he asks Shark why he does everything with violence. He stands up and challenges him for a swimming race, saying if he wins, Shark should never pester them again. Shark agrees, saying if he wins, Yang must wear a banner over her back reading "I love Shark." They agree for the competition to be on Friday. Zhu spends most of his free time practicing and exercising. Losing to Shark is simply not an option for him. Although he and Yang are not dating, he cherishes their time together and is glad she considers him a friend. The next day, as they sit together under a shade, watching the rain pour down, Zhu asks Yang about her plans for the future. She confesses her love for drawing and dreams of becoming a fashion designer. Curious, she turns the question back to Zhu, who replies that his only goal is to honor her by defeating Sharks in their swimming competition. This surprises her. In this scene, he invites her over to his house to change his wet uniform due to the rain. She agrees, and while she's walking around the house, she stumbles upon a box. As she opens it, Zhu rushes to retrieve it from her, causing the contents to spill onto the floor. He scrambles to pick up the discs, and she notices one of them contains adult content, which explains his embarrassment. She catches his eye and he quickly tells her that the discs belong to his friend, not him. As it gets late, he offers to give her a ride home on his bicycle. While dropping her off, he expresses his concern about losing the competition to Shark. However, she reassures him that he won't lose, and this makes him happy that she's confident in him. It's Friday, the day of the competition, and Ju and Shark are in the school swimming pool. The whistle blows, signaling the start of the race, and the students cheer as the contestants begin to swim. At the end of the race, Shark comes in third place, while Ju leads the pack, taking first place. Yang rushes to hug him and hands him an ice pop, saying she always knew he would beat Shark. They decide to celebrate by chilling at the beach. As they spend time together at the beach, Ju confesses to Yang that he had lied about having 5 girlfriends. Yang playfully responds that she knew all along, and they both laugh about it. Ju then asks if it was that obvious, and Yang just smiles. Yang draws a sketch of Ju blowing bubble gum. She shows it to him, and he is impressed by her skills. She expresses her desire for time to remain like this forever, and Ju admits he feels the same way. He asks if he could walk her home every day after school, and she happily agrees. Ju is excited, and they both enjoy the rest of their day at the beach, cherishing their newfound connection. Yang has been keeping a secret from everyone, including her closest friend, Ju. She is from an home where her father is a drunk who physically both her and her mother. To escape his fury and they move to a new town, but he always manages to find them. Unfortunately, Yang's dad has located them once again. He breaks into their house, destroying their property in a drunken rage. Ju comes to visit Yang Sai, but he is shocked by the chaos and broken window he finds. In the corner, he sees Yang's dad holding a bottle. Her mother is crying, and the neighbors are whispering to each other, clearly aware of what's happening. As soon as Yang Sai sees Ju, she feels embarrassed, knowing that he's now aware of the part of her life she has always sought to keep hidden. When he asks if she is okay, she responds by shouting at him to leave. Ju has no idea that Yang Sai has an father, and he never thinks that she has any problems at home. He realizes that she has never divulged any of her family affairs to him, and he wishes he had the power to protect her more. The next day in school, he realizes Yang Sai didn't come to school, and he knows exactly why. In the evening of the same day, he is at home and receives a call from a public phone booth. It's Yang on the line. He asks if she's alright, but he could tell she's been crying. She tells him her dad is the reason why she transferred to a new school. Now that he has found where they stay, they have to move again. She tells him it's a pleasure to know him and goodbye. The knowledge of her leaving when they have begun to grow their relationship breaks his heart. It's been months since Yang Sai left him without closure. He still misses her and thinks about her every day, wondering where she is and what she's doing. While his mates are putting in for admission into different schools, he is nonchalant. He has no motivation to further his education. All of this changes when his friend Zhang shows him a picture of the girls in the college where he is applying. As he scrolls past the pictures, he sees a picture that catches his attention. As he zooms it in, he realizes one of the students in the picture is Yang Sai, and he feels a gush of excitement radiating all over his body. He cannot believe his luck. He hurries home and tells his parents he has seen the college he intends to apply to. They are surprised at his sudden burst of seriousness. He takes extra lessons and studies hard until he gains admission to his school. His sole purpose is to be reunited with Yang Sai, the love of his life. First day in college, as they enter the school building, Ju and Zhang are overwhelmed by the sheer number of attractive women in the school. However, he remains focused on his reason for coming to the college. He knows Yang Sai enjoys skewer meats, so he frequents eateries where they are sold, hoping to see her, but to no avail. Then one day in the evening, Ju sees Yang Sai walking down the road with her friend. He couldn't believe his eyes and calls out her name, and she turns to look at him. She smiles and expresses her surprise at seeing him there. Ju perceives that Yang Sai's reception towards him lacks enthusiasm compared to his own eagerness to see her. However, he remains determined in reigniting their past intimacy and advancing their bond. To attain this goal, Ju registers for the same class as Yang Sai, with the purpose of having more opportunities to be with her. Nonetheless, once Yang Sai becomes aware of his intentions, she reveals that she's romantically involved with someone else. This disclosure shatters Ju's heart. He even joins the cheerleading team because Yang is a member. He finds out that the captain of the soccer team is Yang's boyfriend. He still isn't giving home, but Yang isn't pleased by his lack of interest in school and his obsession with her. He is walking her home when she advises him to take his academics seriously, as it takes a lot to gain admission in the school. As they are conversing, a man runs after a woman and is dragging her bag with her. Ju, who is feeling heroic, runs after them and separates the man after threatening to beat him up. On the eve of the same day, he is surprised as some police come to take him to the station. At first, he is worried that the adult content he has been streaming is the reason behind the arrest. As he gets to the station, he sees Yang Sai too. The police later reveal that they came across the CCTV footage of them in collaboration with the swindler that they helped earlier that day. They are both put in different cells, but as soon as the police realize that he is not part of the syndicate involved in pickpocketing, they both are released. While detained, they are positioned in cells directly opposite each other, providing an opportunity to converse. He inquires how Yang met her boyfriend. Yang explains that they met on the day she arrived for her entrance exam. Her books had scattered on the ground, and as she bent and picked them up, Chen offered to help. Impressed by his kindness, she agreed to go on a date with him. He offers her advice to stay committed to her studies to succeed. Yang further confides that she sought stability in a partner, something she had always lacked, and saw that quality in Chen. Ju has been pushing himself to do better in academics and has even been taking his swimming lessons seriously. Though he knows he is still in love with Yang, he is aware that she needs time to come around. Despite his efforts to impress her by tagging around her daily yielded no result because she's dating someone else. Ju realizes that he should focus on other things for the time being. After weeks of not seeing each other, Ju remembers that it is Yang's birthday today. He feels elated to call her as he misses talking to her. However, when he asks her if she is planning to throw a party, she informs him that she is feeling unwell and doesn't feel like going out. Besides, she and Chen are scheduled to see fireworks later that night. Yang thanks Ju for remembering her birthday before ending the call. Yang Sai and Ju have an unresolved issue that has kept them from speaking to each other for the entirety of their college stay. Ju overhears Chen, the guy Yang Sai is dating, telling a girl at the library that he will take her to Sanya. Ju is hurt that Chen is cheating on the girl he loves. The next day, during an inter-school match, Chen performs poorly. Ju approaches Yang Sai, who is watching the game, and tells her what he heard at the library. However, Yang Sai thinks Ju is playing a trick on her again and doesn't want to listen to him. This reaction ignites anger in Ju. He can't believe that Yang Sai trusts Chen over him. Ju steps onto the field and volunteers to play for his school. He puts all his frustration into the game and scores 2 goals to equalize the score. Ju is done trying to impress Yang Sai and is still furious. As a result, he picks a fight with Chen on the field and punches him. The crowd is stunned by Ju's reaction as he storms off the field. While walking past Yang Sai, he realizes that their friendship is over. A lot has happened a few years after college. Ju has experienced a lot of changes. He's become a star player on his provincial team, and his talent is well recognized. Zhang Feng, his best friend from college, opened a bar after graduation, and Ju frequently hangs out there. Chen, another friend from college, landed a job at a law firm. Despite all these developments, Ju hasn't heard anything about Yang Sai, the girl he once loved. A part of him still yearns to see her again. On a fateful day, Ju finishes his swimming lesson and is heading home through town when he catches sight of Yang walking with a young man. His heart skips a beat. Driven by curiosity, he follows her and discovers that she's shooting a commercial. Yang looks up and spots him, and they both express surprise at the unexpected reunion. They decide to catch up later that evening. As they chat, Ju shares his achievements in the national swimming team, and Yang inquires if he has a girlfriend. Ju confesses that he does. Yang, however, reveals that she isn't currently dating anyone due to her busy schedule, which involves work and taking care of her father. Yang Sai doesn't have a car, so he drives her to her shoot whenever he's free, and he could feel the feelings long buried creeping in. Things get awkward between them when they play at a tower house on the beach and he tries to kiss her, which she dodges. The drive back home is a quiet one, and in the few days that follow, they don't speak. Yang Sai is busy rigorously training for the national swimming contest that is coming up on Saturday. It's a big event that could literally change his life. He calls and invites her to come watch the competition, which she agrees to. It's Saturday, the day of the competition has finally arrived. As the event is about to begin, he hears news of heavy rainfall and flooding in the area. The report mentions that some participants traveling to the championship are stranded by the water, and he can't help but worry that Yang Sai might be among them. He is anxious but tries to focus on the competition. As soon as the whistle blows, signaling the start of the event, he takes off running towards the exit. Ju can't shake off the feeling that something terrible might have happened to Yang Sai. He rushes outside and searches for her in the rain, calling her name repeatedly. It doesn't take long before he spots her, standing by the entrance, soaked but safe. Relief floods through him, and he runs towards her, happy to have found her unharmed. As they turn to leave, a big metal roof falls from the roof they were standing close to. In a bid to move Yang from being injured, the metal falls on his shoulder, causing him to collapse. Yang rushes Ju to the hospital for treatment after injuring his shoulder. Unfortunately, this means he has to miss out on a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that could have boosted his position on the team. However, the experience ultimately has a silver lining for Ju's relationship with Yang Sai. She stands by him throughout his hospital stay, and they even share a passionate kiss. Ju heals from his injury and is cleared by the hospital. The two begin dating and decide to move in together. For Ju, this is the most exciting time of his life. Waking up every morning beside Yang, knowing she wants to be with him, it feels like a dream come true. As they walk through the streets after a long day at work, Yang and Ju stumble upon a beautiful bridal shop. Yang can't help but admire a stunning wedding gown in the window display. Ju notices her fascination and promises to get her something equally as breathtaking for their own wedding. At that moment, Yang pulls out a small box containing 2 rings and places it in Ju's hand. She feels the timing is perfect and takes the opportunity to propose to him. Without hesitation, Ju slips the other ring onto her finger, and they both feel an overwhelming love for each other. 1 year has passed since the accident, and the initial honeymoon phase of Yang and Ju's relationship has begun to fade. They are now facing the harsh realities of life. In an effort to move forward, the couple goes to see Ju's doctor for a final assessment and clearance to begin the process of reintegrating into his team. The news from the doctor is devastating. Although Ju's shoulder has healed fairly well, the severe scarring from the injury means that he will never be able to play in the professional league again. This news shatters Zhu, leaving him to come to terms with the loss of his lifelong dream. Yang Sai has been bearing most of the household expenses ever since Zhu's income as a professional athlete came to a halt. However, she's noticed that he has grown increasingly dissatisfied with his life in general. He doesn't seem to appreciate the fact that she's taken on all the responsibilities, and sometimes she senses that he feels emasculated by his inability to contribute significantly to their finances. In an effort to lift his spirits, Yang Sai constantly reassures him and buys him gifts. Unfortunately, despite her best efforts, he continues to complain and wallow in self-pity. After an unsuccessful attempt at starting a gym, he has resorted to selling swimming courses online. Yang Sai doesn't know what to make of Zhu's new behavior. She asked him to marry her. He scoffed and said that he couldn't provide her with a wedding that would fit her. Months later, Yang Sai's father succumbs to his illness and she's at his funeral with Zhu. Their relationship has been straining since he lost his job, and she has taken on the role of provider. At her father's funeral, she overhears Zhu telling a friend that he wouldn't have been in his current situation if he hadn't met Yang Sai, and that he could have excelled in his career. This remark only adds to the emotional burden of the day for Yang Sai. She's had enough already. Yang Sai confronts him. He appears surprised to see her standing behind him. He apologizes and explains that he didn't mean to hurt her. She opens up about her past experiences, how her father always blamed her and her mother for his own misfortunes. Having to hear him express regret about their relationship reignites the pain of her past, and despite believing she had found security with him, she knows what she needs to do. She decides to leave him for good, not wanting to stand in the way of his dreams. Taking the 2-year scholarship to Milan that her boss offered feels like the right next step for her. She'll start anew, leaving him behind to pursue his own goals. Zhu's heart is shattered by the breakup with Yang. The memories of their beautiful life together haunt him, and he finds it difficult to move on. For days on end, he isolates himself, drowning his sorrows in bottle after bottle of alcohol. His friends come around to lift his spirits, hoping to ease his pain and help him through this tough time. Zhu receives a heartfelt letter from Yang Sai, months after their breakup. She expresses her regret for turning him down during their growing up years and acknowledges the love they shared. She fondly remembers the fun and goofy moments they had before their issues started. Despite the passage of time, Zhu still misses her. Putting an effort to improve his life, Zhu enrolls in school and obtains certification as a teacher. He also coaches and trains learners on swimming. He works full-time as a school teacher and spends time with his friends whenever he's free. Life is good. He makes a consistent effort to improve himself. Exactly 15 years after he first saw Yang at high school and became infatuated with her, he receives a parcel. Upon opening it, he discovers that it's a wedding invitation from Yang. The realization that she is marrying someone else is too much for him to bear. His friends decide to take him out for a short vacation to help him take his mind off Yang's wedding. While on vacation, he opens the box containing the engagement ring that he had given Yang. An idea strikes him, and he decides to attend her wedding to tell her how he feels for the last time. He makes the decision to attend the wedding with the support of his friends. When they arrive at the venue, his friends distract Yang Sai's bridesmaid, giving him the chance to see her. Upon entering the room, he sees her in her wedding gown, and she turns to smile at him. It's as if she knew he would come all along. Overwhelmed with emotion, he tells her how much she impacts his life and how her encouragement helps him achieve so much. She responds by thanking him for being an incredible friend and a source of stability. As they say their goodbyes, they wish each other a lifetime of happiness on their separate paths. He sees tears in her eyes as they part ways for the final time. It's a bittersweet moment, but Zhu knows that this is the right choice for both of them. As he walks away, he is grateful for the memories they both share.